And thanks, everyone. This is Fox 12 Now. I'm Greg Nibbler, live here from the Fox 12 Oregon newsroom. We're here every weekday. We start at 1 o'clock. We go throughout the afternoon. And as I always mention, we cover a wide range of topics. Something that you probably noticed if you've been in Oregon for any amount of time are the amount of Canadian geese that are around this time of year, especially just a little bit earlier. And with that, there are certain things, unfortunately, that can happen, and sometimes the birds may die or be hit. And what happens then for those goslings that are left after that? Well, the Bird Alliance of Oregon has a solution for some of that, and we're going to be joined by them right now to talk about this. And we've got the director of the Wildlife Care Center. We've got Travis Koons who's joining us right now. And Travis, good to have you here on the show to talk about this. And I think to start off, before we go too far into talking about the Canadian goslings, could you tell us about the Bird Alliance of Oregon just a little bit, in case people don't know the organization and just some of the things that you do?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for having me. The Bird Alliance of Oregon is an institution here just inside of Forest Park, right up northwest Portland, is where the sanctuary is located. But the organization's been around for 120 years, originally known as Oregon Society, Oregon Audubon Society, more recently the Audubon Society of Portland, and then in February 2024 changed our name to the Bird Alliance of Oregon. Still the same organization that is up here in Forest Park. Do a lot of work with environmental advocacy, both at the state and local levels. We have an education team that does adult education and child education camps, additional things like that. And then our Wildlife Care Center is a big part of the Bird Alliance of Oregon, and we are a hospital, the only wildlife rehabilitation hospital in the region, and we see about 5,500 patients every year.
Wow, and when you're talking about 5,500 patients, that's, I'm sure, across the spectrum of various animals.
Yes, we get when we'll take any animal that is not a pet or domestic that is in need of care, and we have wildlife solutions counselors, so you're able to call. We make about 12,000 contacts every year, whether email, phone calls, just trying to help provide solutions. And then we can also receive the animals at our hospital, or we'll recommend if you go through our solutions counselors to bring it to us. And it can be anything from a turtle, a snake, but we do see a lot of birds this time of year, also baby mammals, baby squirrels, baby skunks, baby rabbits is a big thing.
When it comes to the Canadian geese, you mentioned that you see a lot of birds this time of year. What percentage or how many are we talking about when it comes to that population? Because it seems like there's a lot of them around, which would also lead to potential issues.
Yeah, the Canada goose is a really neat bird. They are they are plentiful. You see them everywhere, and we see the goslings. We see them at the waterfront. You see them around. Something that's really neat is that they are um, a species that's open fairly readily to fostering other babies of the same size. So I don't know that I'd characterize them as really any sort of a problem, but they do have a lot of interface with the public because they will set up shop in areas like coal wetlands, right in the middle of a very active part of Beaverton.
Yeah, which there we see them frequently out by our station, just
Hmm.
in this area alone.
Hmm.
So how often are you receiving, the goslings that are orphaned or something along those lines?
Daily to almost daily. I mean, I think we've
Really?
received about 30 to 40 between goslings, ducklings, but we see about 30 patients a day across the spectrum up here at the hospital. And if they are healthy birds with in regards to the goslings, then we'll work a lot. We'll work very hard to go identify some families that could be potential fosters, and then we'll foster them out.
So can you walk us through how that works? And we've got these four for an example that
Yeah.
were brought in. So you're talking about finding a foster family. Are these? How do you go about that? Because I'm sorry, I have no idea how that works. If you could walk us through that
Sure,
process.
sure. The Wildlife Care Center up here at the park, we have about 170 volunteers that help support what we do. We're a volunteer-driven organization. We wouldn't do it without them. And a part of those, or many of those, will just keep their eyes out for us, and we'll send out an SOS and, hey, just wherever you are in the Portland area, let us know if you see gosling families with 7-inch goslings. If you see 7-inch, 5-inch, 9-inch goslings, let us know. And then we'll try to find a place that has the same size birds that kind of match up, and then we'll send a scout, and somebody has to go out there and actually identify. This video you're showing, I went out there and found a pretty good option, and then I called and waited for the person to actually transport the birds from up at the hospital down to the park. And yeah, they're neat birds.
Yeah, I mean, and so you just found this family, and these birds just readily accepted these 4 orphaned goslings.
Yeah, yeah, that's what
Wow,
happened.
wow, that's pretty amazing, and that's a common experience you've mentioned when it comes to these to
It,
these geese.
yeah, it was a really cool experience, definitely. And as a general rule, the Canada Goose will more readily accept foster babies that are not their own, more so than other species that we see. As an example, like a mallard, in the past, maybe there's been some guidance that you could reunite mallards. It's pretty difficult. They're pretty rough on babies that aren't their own.
Wow,
But we don't see that with the Canada goose.
that's pretty amazing. So now that they're out there, they're just going to be raised by these other geese. You know, for people out there, you mentioned you get so many patients that come in. If somebody does come across, what appears to be, we'll use the goslings for an example, but really any kind of animal. But if somebody comes across some orphaned goslings and you notice there are no parents around, or what do you do in that situation to even ascertain that that's what's going on, and what to do about it after that?
Sure, I think a lot of times now the go-to, somebody's just going to reach on their phone and type in, "What do I do? I found this gosling."
Yeah, yeah.
I think if you're in the Portland area and you ask Portland, you'll get our number. You'll be able to contact the Wildlife Solutions counselors. They mentioned they get about 12,000 calls a year, so you'll leave a message, but we will call you back during business hours pretty quickly. Or if you leave us a message overnight, if you want to call us at 3 in the morning, we'll call you back the next morning. But we're always there to give you kind of advice. And then, or if you feel like you can kind of go through the flow chart on your own, and you determine that these birds are orphaned and they in need of some extra assistance, you can get them in a box, try to get a towel around them, and keep them warm, and drive them up to our hospital.
And just bring them directly in. So you'll accept
Bring
that
them
if
up.
okay, all right. And let's let everybody know too. You're mentioning. I mean, I'm sure people can look it up, but just in case, where the location is and how it is that they get a hold of you the easiest.
Yeah, so if you're coming from Portland, Northwest Lovejoy, just turns into Northwest Cornell, and that'll take you straight into Forest Park through the 2 tunnels. So after you go up Cornell, you're coming right towards our hospital, up Lovejoy. From the other direction, it's Cornell, Beaverton, coming out of Cornell. Uh, is coming out of Beaverton on Cornell is kind of just stay on there and you'll find us. We're right in Forest Park, kind of in between, near the Wildwood Trailhead. Um, you're gonna have to give me a second on the phone number. I don't have it memorized.
That's okay. People can look that up too.
Yeah.
I mean, while you're doing that, any other advice or recommendations that you have for people who may come across any kind of wildlife? I know we've heard some concerns about people seeing baby animals of some type this time of year and not realizing that they aren't orphaned. Any recommendation on what people should do?
Yeah, yeah. If there's a lot of times where animals are in various stages, birds are in various stages of fledging. So you might see them struggling to fly well. They don't look like they're flying well. It doesn't always mean they're injured. They could just be very much learning how to fly. They just left the nest. Mammals, if you come across a nest of rabbits, just because you found them and they look helpless and there's nothing, you don't see anybody around, any other adult rabbits around, that doesn't mean they're not there. That doesn't mean they're not going to be cared for. So, in a lot of situations, you can leave animals be. One of the things that we see at our hospital a lot is glass collisions, and so if you have if you're in a home or an apartment, there's temporary methods, but there's really ways, especially if you've seen it happen, if you're worried about it happening, there's different ways to mitigate glass collisions. Um, Simple as just like putting some soap on the windows or not even washing them, letting them be dirty. Something as long as they're more visible to the birds, to help avoid those collisions. And then a lot of birds travel at night and have those collisions at night. And keeping extra lighting off, reducing your overnight lighting, can really help the birds navigate a little more accurately.
All right. Well, Travis, thank you very much, for joining us to talk about this, and congratulations on finding the adoptive parents there for those goslings, and making, getting a new family together when it comes to that. And thanks for joining us here on Fox 12 Now. Really appreciate your time and what you're doing up there.
You got it. 503-292-0304.
There we go. See, we just had to stall a little bit. Now we got it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool,
That's our
man.
wildlife solutions counselors. Thanks for having me on.
All right. Thanks a lot. And for everybody watching, we are live here out of the newsroom. As I mentioned, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back. We've got plenty more for you. And if more breaking news happens, we'll have that also. But a lot of conversations and a lot of original interviews and segments coming up here for you on Fox 12 Now.